Early hard mode is a great time to be a mage in Terraria, with a bunch of easy to obtain, powerful weapons being introduced. This includes some incredible choices such as the Crystal Serpent, Sky Fracture, and Life Drain, which despite all functioning differently, perform at very similar levels. Today, we're going to be looking at another weapon that falls into this category, which depending on your scenario, could be your best bet for this stage of the game. Of course, I'm talking about the Meteor Staff. The Meteor Staff is simply just a great weapon overall, not being locked behind any progression, requiring easy materials, and packing enough of a punch to take you far into hard mode. Before we look into it any further though, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe as it truly helps out the channel. Alright, let's first see how you get this thing. As mentioned, the Meteor Staff is relatively easy to obtain, meaning you can get your hands on it shortly after entering hard mode. To do this, you'll want to first mine some meteorite, which you'll most probably already have in your well from earlier. If not though, you'll have about a 2% chance of a new meteorite falling upon midnight if you've already mined the majority of an existing one. Once you've got yourself 60 ore, we can move on to the next piece. 10 pixie dust. This is dead easy to obtain, and is simply just a common drop from a common enemy found in your surface hallow. And once you've got that, we'll finally need to head to your underground hallowed and get our hands on 10 souls of light. This could potentially be the most time-consuming part of the recipe. However, at this stage of the game, I'd highly recommend creating a specialized layer farm like this, as you'll probably be needing souls all throughout progression. Okay, with everything in hand, smelt that meteorite into some bars, and add a mithril or orichalcum anvil, craft that beautiful Meteor Staff. Right, let's take a look at what it can do. In many ways, the Meteor Staff is a mage version of the Daedalus Stormbow, having a near identical firing style. However, unlike a bow, deadly meteor projectiles will be held from above towards the cursor, exploding on impact with a tile or enemy. As you can see, due to the accuracy of the projectiles, even its single target damage is impressive, and is in fact competitive to its closest rivals, the Crystal Serpent and the Sky Fracture. And this is a brilliant start, as due to the nature of the Meteor Staff, it will of course excel in multi-target combat even more, reaching a high of 1000 DPS. Again, compared to other mage options at this point in the game, it just leaves them for dead. So what's it like against the real thing? Well, due to it being able to attack from above, it almost works like piercing, meaning it can take out large compact groups very easily, and is miles ahead compared to other linear firing weapons. So then, how does it do against tanky single targets? Well, while I wouldn't say it's anything mind-boggling, being able to take one of these out at any speed in early hard mode is a blessing, as pretty much everything Biomimics drop can be useful. So yeah, pretty good going so far. So what about bosses? Now, I think it only makes sense to get the cheese out the way first. Very much like the Stormbow, the Destroyer literally doesn't stand a chance, and is absolutely demolished in about 20 seconds. But we all knew that was coming. So what about a more typical boss like the Queen Slime? And to be honest, even against this thing, I found its damage to be excellent. Really, it was one of those fights that ended much faster than I expected, and I was able to deal about 700 DPS consistently. So this got me thinking, could you potentially keep going with this weapon past the mechs and 2 Plantera? And well, yeah. It may not be the best weapon for the fight, but its damage output is there. The only real problem is, of course, the fact it's a vertical firing weapon, meaning similar to the Stormbow, Star Fury and whatnot, it requires a large open space to function properly, which is something you should definitely keep in mind. Also, something we just can't be forgetting is its excellent event and invasion performance. Due to damaging such a large area, it can be a fantastic option for events like these, and could even cheese them entirely by just bunkering yourself underground. Honestly, the possibilities are endless with this weapon, and is definitely my favourite out of the handful of craftable early hard mode ones. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the staff down below. Do you love it as much as I do, or would you rather use something a little more precise? This has been sockrteez, and I'll see you in the next one.